All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Today's May the 20th, and we are going, we had breakfast this morning. If you guys were here, you would be enjoying it. We were talking about, thanks to Mike Mills, and I'm actually going to do our core value and then hand the floor over to Mike. So our core value today is we believe faith and family should come first, and our precious gifts to be savored. We will always create margin for both. I'm not going to read the bottom part because I want to tell you the reason that I selected this one for today is because of where we're going with irreplaceable agent. We're going to finish up week 6 and 7 today. So it's the vision and the commitment part of irreplaceable agent. I hope that you've gotten something out of that class. If you got one thing out of it, then it was worth my time doing it, and I hope it was beneficial to you. I hope everybody enjoyed the blueprints that I sent out. Hope that you got something out of that as well. But this is going to come from the vision and the commitment. We always have to make time for our faith and family. And one thing I discovered early in my career, thankfully, was that I have to schedule my family. Because if I don't, I'm always doing something else for somebody else. And so I block those times and say, this is the time that I will be with my family and doing these things with the kids, baseball, whatever it is. So that's part of the vision that we want to take it to. But let me introduce Mike. Mike, I just stole your stuff from your website. Let me stop presenting and let you start presenting.
Alrighty.
And down at the bottom there, I'll stop sharing and you can go right on from there.
I'm going to do a little extra. It's going to give us that. There. Okay. So, very good. Well, thank you guys. My name is Mike Mills. I am a mortgage lender. I work with a company called Core Community Mortgage, but my company doesn't really matter because I'm the person that does the loans. There's just a bank behind it. So I am a lender, but I'm not. Today is not about how well we do loans and how fast we close and how well we communicate and all that stuff. Because to me, that's kind of like bare minimum stuff, right? Our job as lenders is to add value to your business, and that's what I want to do today. Is to give you guys a little bit of information about a few things that we do. So first off, this is something I always kind of like to start with, which is interest rates. All right, if you guys have been paying attention, rates have climbed up. We're knocking on 7%, and rates are tied to the 10-year Treasury. I don't know if you guys knew that, but basically, a lot of people and consumers think that rates are tied to the Fed. They are not. Okay, the Fed is kind of a trickle down to things like automobile loans, credit card interest, things of that nature. But the Fed rate is just what banks borrow between one another. That's all it is. Mortgage rates are tied to the 10-year Treasury. 10-year Treasury has to do with debt. And it has to do with investor interest, essentially. So mortgage-backed securities and 10-year treasuries are directly tied. Well, just recently, the inflation report came out, and inflation was at 3.8%, which is the highest it's been since 2023. So if you can see, when that was announced, right around here, you see those big red marks on there? That is that, okay? Mortgage rates typically move on a day-to-day basis as far as basis points are concerned, about maybe 10 to 15 basis points at the max. This day right here was 50, okay? And then this day right here was 45, okay? So these are massive moves, which is why you saw a big jump. Now, good news is today, we've got that little green bar because, usually it's when the market reacts negatively, there's a bit of a rebound, and that's what we're seeing right now. So all this just to say is that what's happened and what's going to continue to happen as long as the rates stay in this area is that the shrink of buyers and sellers, or the pool of buyers and sellers is going to shrink, okay? So that means your ability to communicate with them, get yourself in front of the ones that are out there in the market is incredibly important. And that's part of what I'm talking about next. So, and I promise I'll get through this quick.
Okay, fine.
All right, so
does red mean rates go up?
Red means rates go up. Okay. Yes, because it's a direct correlation between yield. So basically, we have to, in order for us to sell debt as a government, we have to issue treasury bonds, which is essentially what 10-year treasuries are. There's a bunch of other ones too, but 10-year treasuries, the one that mortgage-backed securities is tied to. So whenever we're in a lot of debt, in order for investors to purchase those 10-year treasuries, they have to offer a greater yield, right? Otherwise, they'll sell because as we become higher in debt, as inflation goes up, along with gas prices and everything else, the risk becomes greater. So people tend to sell out bonds when that happens. So in order to get people to buy it, because we have $39 trillion in debt, they have to raise the yield. And as the yield goes up, then you'll see interest rates go up too, because it's more expensive, and kind of how it works. So
Patty had a question. Patty, would you like to jump?
Yes.
Yes, on the red, I noticed that there's a little lock above that. Is that when you are advising the client to lock in their rate before that goes too high, or?
So that service that I just showed you is really, it is a service that we pay for as lenders that gives us, kind of real-time data. And they do suggest, they make suggest, hey, this is a good time to lock in, this is a good time to float. I will tell you just the way that I do stuff. Generally speaking, when I quote somebody a rate up front, that's the rate they're going to get. And if the rate gets better, we have something called a float down where they can get a better rate. And if it gets worse, my rates don't get worse. So now, most of the time it works out wonderfully. Sometimes it doesn't. And when it doesn't, then, we take a hit, because that's part of our promise is to say, hey, look, this is what you're doing. Here's your rate. Here's your payment. Here's how much money you need for closing. Everybody's happy and there's no surprises, because that's what we want at the end of the day, because this is an emotional transaction. When you sit down at the closing table and do your transaction, you want people to have good vibes and good feelings as they walk out the door, because they don't remember the details of everything that happened. They just remember how they felt when they left. And so whether your lender screwed up or the title company screwed up, the insurance guy screwed up, or the inspector, whoever, if somebody made the process or transaction a little less fun, then they walk away with a bad sense in their mind. And that's not what we want ultimately, right? So this AI stuff that you guys were just talking about is perfectly aligned with what I'm about to show you, okay? So right now, most people use AI tools, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini. They use it for search. They don't use it to really build stuff, okay? And what you have to do is start changing your mindset into the building aspect of it, right? So everybody here, I'm pretty much sure, works by referral. Would that be a fair statement? Right. So what's the first thing when someone refers you to a buyer or seller? What's the very first thing that they're going to do?
Let us know.
What do you think? Huh?
Contact.
Some of them.
They're gonna search.
Okay, let me, there we go.
Yeah.
When you guys decide to use a new lender, a new insurance company, a new roofer, a new whatever, what do you do? Right? You go look them up, right? So that's what we're going to talk about real quick. So before anybody calls you, they're going to look you up, right? That's what they're going to do. My delay here. So 100% of buyers search online. It's not 95, it's not 98, it is 100% search for homes, everything they want online, because that's what we all do, right? We all use the internet as a tool, that's what it is. And 43% start there before they ever call you, okay? So what is happening when you show up online? Well, right now, AI is the new front door to all of this, because what's the thing that most people think is the internet? Right, I did. Google. To everybody, Google is the internet. Well, if you've ever used Google in the last 2 years, what's the first thing that usually pops up when you type in search? Gemini's response to that, right? So we used to go through and we would look at web pages. It would give us a long list of pages to search through. Well, now it gives us the answer, okay? And it gives us the answer based on sources that it pulls from, okay? So if a home buyer or a home seller is starting their journey online, which they are, whether they've been referred to anybody or not, their journey usually starts off, I'm looking for a house in Fort Worth, or I'm thinking about moving from California to North Texas. Where are the best schools, right? These are the type of things that start to show up. So AI is going to decide what the next person looking for you looks for, okay? And the problem with what most agents have right now, except for an exception, which we have the star of people in the class over here, is they're going to see, they're going to see old photos. They're going to see 3 different spellings of your name. They're going to see a website that died in 2021. So it does all this while it's looking. So if AI is searching for an agent to recommend to a buyer or a seller, and they see you, but they see you in 7 different ways, they think ultimately you're 7 different people, okay? And ideally what AI is doing is looking for authority. So if you have a blog article, or you have a YouTube video, or you have any kind of social media that says why buying in Fort Worth is, or why Fort Worth is the best city to live in Texas, okay? If you answer that question, AI will find that answer from you. And if you answer that question across multiple platforms, and you answer it across multiple mediums, and all of your platforms and mediums say the exact same thing, or pretty close, then now you're the authority. That's why you can see agents right now that haven't sold 2 or 3 homes in their entire career, but their online presence is dialed in, and they get recommended more often than someone that has sold 500 homes in their career, okay? Because of Google reviews, because of blog articles, because they're answering questions. SEO used to be how people search. Keywords in your website, keywords in your posts. Now it's something called GEO, Generative Engine Optimization, which means, are you answering questions that buyers and sellers are asking? Okay. So, and that's ultimately what you want to try to do. So what does the internet know about you? Well, first off, let's see what the internet knows about Brian.
I can look at this.
So are you guys familiar with Claude? Okay, so Claude is my favorite LLM. ChatGPT, I started out there. It's okay, it's fine. ChatGPT does good images, does way better than Claude. But Claude will do things like co-work, it'll do things like coding. Their projects are much more effective than most of these others. So I built a co-work project inside of Claude that goes along. All I have to do is type in your name, your email, your phone number, and your brokerage. And if I type those things in, it will scrape the internet and it will look for everything related to you and who you are. Okay. And that's why I'm not showing everybody. I'm showing the one that got the highest score that I've seen since I've done this. Okay, I've been doing this for about 6 months, and Brian's definitely got the best one.
I've been trying to teach y'all this.
So what does this do? Well, ultimately what it does is it says, okay, Brian's got a 75 out of 100. Now you would normally say, oh, you got a C. Okay, well, Brian didn't get a C. That most people that I score are anywhere between 20 to 50. Okay, so that's significantly better than most. All right, so what is this basing it off of? Well, you can see, I'll read this just real quick. So 21 years, 473 closings, 5 stars across 138 Zillow reviews, brokerage manager of the Fort Worth office, 6th Avenue Homes. By any honest measure, Brian, you've built the most respected real estate practices in North Tanner County. So the foundation online presence reflects 75 out of 100, puts you firmly in the green zone of this audit. Okay. So now, does that mean that Brian's perfect? No, we have some room for improvement. So what we do here is we base it on 3 things. Google business profile. So he's got a profile, it's claimed, it's posting fresh listings. The drag here is on his reviews. So his reviews on Zillow are fantastic. Okay. But he doesn't have very many reviews on Google. Okay. But what's the thing that people search for and use to search the most? Google, right? So here's the thing about Zillow. Zillow requires that you do a transaction in order for you to leave a review. So nobody can leave a review on Zillow unless they've done a transaction with you, which gives them a little more credibility. And oh, by the way, ChatGPT is directly tied in with Zillow now, which is why you were recommended the other day when you were searching, because he has so many reviews there. But if you can get him in both spots, that's going to take you over the edge, because anybody can review you on Zillow, on Google. Okay. You could have your mom leave a review for you on Google. You could say, hey mom, I need a review. This is the best realtor I know. Okay. It doesn't have to be from past clients. Ideally, that's what you want, but more ideally, you want to build up your Google reviews, because that's what's going to push you to the top of search. And that's what's going to show up when people look for you. So it's got it claimed and verified. Again, the reviews is the only part lacking there a little bit. It gives a little bit of here's what we found. Here's the prescription to fix it. And we've got our website. BrianSinclair.com is one of the strongest agent sites that I've audited. It's clean, digital, and has a real bio, IDX integrated. The opportunity is in the conversion infrastructure and the design. So basically, it's just saying that on Brian's website, if you had more blogs to some extent, but also more lead capture when someone's searching for something. Hey, here's your top free or 10 first-time home buyer steps or whatever you want to put out there. Give me your email and your phone number. You know, that's basically the only reason that it's down here a little bit. Then we've got his reviews and reputation. So again, this is fantastic because of all the Zillow reviews, but can only be improved by adding some to Google. Then you've got brand consistency. Okay, so this is the part that's the most important. Is your name the same? Is your phone number the same? Is your email the same as your website? So if you go to Facebook, I'm Mike Mills TX. If you go to Instagram, I'm Mike Mills TX. And I'm not just Mike Mills TX in my name. When you go to the URL at the top, which is what they're looking for, it says Mike Mills TX. It doesn't say Facebook 1122555. Okay, and you can change that on every single platform: LinkedIn, Facebook, and all of those platforms can be adjusted. So you want to make sure your name, your phone number, your email, and all that stuff is out there the same. Then you also have social media presence. So how often do you post on Instagram, Facebook, all these different sites? Social media is great for reminding the people that you know in your sphere that you do business. If you guys work for a company that has a fantastic social media presence, way better than most that I see on a regular basis. So you guys do have a leg up in that, but you have to adopt your own as well, and not just use the companies, because people buy you, right? They don't necessarily buy 6th Avenue. Most, they do a lot. I'm not saying that they won't. I'm just saying that when people get referred to you, they're using you. Okay, so you've got to have presence. And then at the end of it, it gives a scorecard and kind of just tells you, how everything looks. It breaks down and it gives you your top priority actions. Okay. So this is the kind of stuff that I do. My job isn't just to close your loans. That's what I do. I've been doing it for 17 years. I do it well, but that's not what I talk about. Because again, that's barrier to entry, bare minimum. That should be my job, right? Oh, thank you. My voice just gets like that with those. So Brian's score was fantastic. Now, what you have to do in order to get here, okay, is you have to find out what AI knows about you. So search yourself, figure out what's going on. I would even suggest walking through a path that a buyer or seller would, and just ask questions and see what comes up. Then you need to figure out your brand. I also built a brand profile generator that all you do is you take a context document, you load it into a project inside ChatGPT or Claude. It interviews you like your marketing expert would, asks you questions about your name, your brokerage, your profiles, etc., and then builds an entire brand profile that you can use across any AI platform to give it context every time you use it. Okay. So you have to figure out your brand, then you have to make it consistent. So once you know what your brand is and you've figured out what it is, now you have to go to all your sites and make sure that everything says the same thing. Okay. Because that's how people find you. And then the whole process of this, which goes back to what you guys are doing right now, is not only is this stuff important, but what it also does is it teaches you how to learn this tool. Okay. Because people that use and agents that use AI just for search and that's it are the ones that are going to fall behind. The ones that know how to build stuff, know how to create workflows. I built a buyer project. It's a transaction coordinator essentially for a buyer where basically it has all the timelines that are necessary, copies of the contracts. It has questions to ask, email templates, all of your vendors out there. So all you do is you load it all into a project and you say, I'm meeting with Sarah Martinez. We're looking at a 3-bedroom house. Here's the process we start. Okay. So all of this stuff can be built. You can build it, but my job more than anything is I want to show you what it's capable of. So then that way you can come up with things that we've never even thought of. Because AI is, again, it's a tool. And just like your home inspector is really good at home inspections, your insurance guy is really good at insurance, you guys are really good at buying and selling. AI is not all things all the time. You have to train it to do specific tasks. And the more you can train it and the more you know and understand it, the more work it's going to do for you and save you time, which is ultimately what everything's about. Make sense?
Fantastic.
Okay, cool. That's pretty much all I got, guys. One thing I will ask, let me see if I can move that at all. I don't know if that's on mine or here. Just close it. But
Did you make that with Claude?
I did, yes. That QR code, if you scan that and put your information in, I will send you a brand audit for yourself. Okay. Now, granted, they're not all going to be great, but it's not that point, right? It's like if your car is having issues under the hood, you hear it clacking, you know there's a problem and you know you need to get it fixed, but until you check and see what the problem is, you don't know what's fixed. So it's not a scorecard to be down on yourself about. It's just like, okay, here are the things that I need to do, and I'll send that to you guys for free. Cool. Any questions?
Can we thank Mike for bringing breakfast and the Thank you so much, Mike.
You bet.
Appreciate you very much. I know, are you gonna get blood?
You know what? I've actually got some time.
I'm just playing with you, man. Well, thank you, Mike. Appreciate you again.
Yep, my pleasure.
Oh, so you can see
I want to get offline.
That's
so
exactly
bad.
what it is. I'll get a list from Brian when we're done, and I'll send it out to everybody too, so that way.
I'll get you this afternoon, be later, but I'll go rush this afternoon. Thank you, Mike. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so next week, Brian Farmer at Marriage Homes is gonna be here. It says irreplaceable agent commitment for next week, but that's gonna happen today. Misty's uncle passed away Wednesday, and so we're gonna be in Mineola Wednesday. Jamie's gonna run an AI training here next Wednesday. For the summer, we're gonna do it a little bit different. We're not gonna have like a class system going forward through the summer. I'm gonna do a couple of day-long classes. We're gonna do like a scam alert, how to look at the scams that are coming through. I don't know about y'all, but I'm fighting 30 or 40 a day from the office area and then my personal and everything else. So I'm going to talk about that at least one time this summer. And then we're going to be talking about very close to what Mike was talking about is AI visibility. And we're going to actually delve down 3 times in the whole 3 months of summer. We're going to go down one rabbit hole for a week and then that's it. The other weeks we're going to be more casual, talk about people's problems, what's going on, wins, lessons, mistakes, shout outs, that kind of stuff. We're going to be a much more casual summer if everybody's cool with that.
Hey, Brian, one other thing I want to mention,
Yes,
sorry, just
go
real quick. I'm a CE certified teacher. So, I have a CE company and I do CE classes and they're all about AI. So if you ever want,
Great.
it's on my website that has all the classes listed. So if you guys ever want to
I'll hop
do,
over there.
I'll come over here and do it for you guys.
Perfect. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
I did put June in there, but I didn't put a date, but the first week of June is June the 3rd. And Stephanie Carlisle and D.R. Horton Homes will be here that day. Carter Blood Drive is today. If everybody signed up?
You don't have to, you could just literally go to the bus and be like, hey, can you fit me in?
Okay,
So,
there you
yeah,
go.
But, yeah,
Do you want to talk about June 27th?
so yeah, but it's at,
Arson Robertson.
no, it's at, Whiskey Ranch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's,
Is that the thing?
that's,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
that's the official name as Firestone Robertson.
Okay, well, there you go.
So,
CX Whiskey Ranch. So June 27th.
I didn't know it was called Whiskey Ranch, but that's the name
Yeah,
of the
that's the
distillery.
venue.
Okay,
That's what it's
venue,
called.
okay.
So it's open to the public 12 to 5. So you're gonna just all collectively be there. If you want to be there 12 to 5, you can. 2 to 5. We're reserving 120 tickets. Each agent needs to contribute $50 for part of their tickets. But you have 10 tickets for yourself, your spouse, and whoever you want to invite. I just need to know who's participating because it is a public event. So if you need more tickets, you're more than welcome to purchase them online through their website. But each guest will get into the venue and then get 2 drink tickets. There'll be live music. There'll be a taco truck that they can purchase from. We have 50 reserved seating, but it's literally open and you can bring a blanket on for the lawn. You can sit wherever you want, roam the property, whatever. If you want to book a tour, you can do that online too on your own if you wanted to do that. But we'll send out more information this week. We literally just finalized stuff this morning, so we're just kind of like.
Yeah.
So I have a
Yeah.
question. So let's say I commit to like the 10 tickets or whatever, but I don't use them all and somebody else needs more, like, I just don't want to be like locked in if I don't have that many people come and then just be out.
Pretty much your $50 is buying you a +1. Our sponsors in 6A.
That's really
are-
generous of you to think I have a +1. But
You will. 21, by the way, it has to be.
yeah, that's good. Anyway.
But also, pretty much your $50 is contributing to your own to get a +1. Pretty much everything else is covered by sponsors and 6A.
Okay.
So even if you don't have 10 people or whatever, 8 people you want to invite, you can disperse them through the agents.
Okay, thank you, Holly. Appreciate the update. Victoria leaves on vacation next week. So next Tuesday, she's gone for 10 days. Is that 10 days? Yeah, thereabouts. 11 days. So if you have something closing during that time period, like next week or the first week of June, please get it into Reach Out and get your CDA submitted. That's what I was looking for. Thank you. Thank you. So
Launch pad.
whatever.
Take it off.
Send it. Get it on. Get you some milk. But get those done, please, for Victoria so that she can get those pushed, and we can get that done. Here is the thing that's coming up June the 17th. We are having a CE here at the office. If you haven't signed up for this, it's $10. But Autumn Black's going to go over paragraph 6 of the title policy and the survey. Please scan that QR code or hit the link in the brokerage announcements channel, which will be there later this afternoon. But we need people to sign up and pay the $10 to get into this class on the 17th here at the office. It'll be up 10:30 to 11:30. So we'll do market update and then we'll go right into the class and that'll be the whole day on the 17th. And if we can get Mike to come do an AI training in July or something, that would be kind of cool. Of course, we have one of the greatest AI minds in the world living in the back office with Dolly. So we got that. Here's our national update, listing activities up. I think we're still seeing, do what?
I said,
You
who is
don't
Oh, you don't know the principal dog? You need to see Dolly. She's cute. She's cute. Prices are down, affordability is up, listings activity, inventory continue running again above last year's levels. Sellers becoming more competitive on pricing. Where you're not seeing it is in the $1 million range. They're not. Those houses are still selling and showing very quickly. I just know that because I'm showing $1 million houses right now, and we're running to multiple offers on 4 in 5 days.
Yeah.
Multiple
It
offers.
always is.
So sellers are finally pricing to sell. Inventory is rising. Buyers have more options, but with the rates being where they are, the lower end buyers, the 300 to 400, they're more rate sensitive than a $1 million buyer. They just are. And I think what we need to be kind of preaching on that, or consulting on that is, hey, you marry the house, you date the rate. That's, don't worry about it. Let's just get it in there and find the house that's right for you. Then when rates come down, you can either refinance, you can do something different. Things will change. You're not locked into this rate for the entire life of the loan. Despite ongoing geopolitical uncertainty, markets are watching home sales and business activity reports this week for clues on economic momentum, which we saw some momentum yesterday with the rates jumping like they did. But things will bounce back. It's flux. That's why we're not talking about rates anymore here, because I just don't see the point in it, because they are what they are. We can't change them. We might as well just accept it and be talking about how that we can make it better. Here's what's going on locally. AI and tech jobs continue pouring in Fort Worth. Canadian AI infrastructure company Celestica is opening a massive new campus in Alliance. 1,700 high-skilled jobs, $867 million investment. We've got a lot of AI infrastructure hub coming to the North Texas region. Fort Worth remains one of the fastest growing areas in America. I don't know if y'all saw that report. 76177 has like doubled in size. One of the fastest growing zip codes in the country, and Prosper and Salina are continuing exploding with population. We're winning corporate relocations. Companies continue relocating operations and headquarters into DFW, NVIDIA, Bimbo Bakeries, bunch of stuff coming. We're not growing by accident. We're growing on purpose. Here's Clarissa's view of the market pulse. I always do this for you so you can see.
Yeah, I hear every week.
You're so special. So I just want, I want you to see this, the brief snapshot, and then we're going to talk about it just for a second. So price reductions are still massively outpacing price increases across every county. DFW had 8,600 price reductions this week, only 904 price increases. And then I asked the question, why would somebody increase it this way?
Yeah. Well, I mean, builders do a lot of increases,
They do, but what else are builders doing?
then they're doing incentives.
Right. So we're seeing the builders are, it's a car deal. You move money from one column to another column. Very simple way of thinking about it is if a builder's going to raise their house price, that's because they're trying to get the comps for the rest of the houses in that neighborhood that they're selling. But I'll give you a $20,000 incentive. I'll build you a patio cover, whatever it is, that give you incentives to keep that price point, because if they drop one of those houses, well, then the next one's going to be here and here and here, and it goes down. So the incentives keeps that out of the contract.
Have you noticed, are they putting those in the MLS as seller pays?
No.
No, builders never.
That's what, I mean, I've just never gone to
I've
check. I
never-
just didn't know. if
I've
anybody's
never seen a
it.
builder put, when they close it out, the seller concession.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think so.
Oh, I
Go ahead.
have. I've seen it. I'm watching that.
Are you okay?
Yeah,
Where'd you see
I've
that?
seen this. I've seen the seller concessions being there. There's one that's currently in there that's completely wrong. It was the entire full sales price of the property. So
Oh,
I was
well.
like, that kind of throws off some things too. And I've turned it into MLS, so I do watch that very, very closely when I go on listing appointments.
Good. Okay, that's good to know. So that's something to keep an eye on and be looking at. If you're not loading your buyer stuff into AI, start a thread for every buyer, start a thread for every listing. Throw your contracts in there, throw the comps in there in one thread. Get that information in there. Show like if you're running text messages with a client, I take screenshots and load it into that buyer thread so that AI knows how that buyer thinks. And if I run into a problem or a question, then I can just go to the AI and go, hey, Jeff, my overthinking client is asking this really overthinking question. I don't want to answer him in a bad way because he's an overthinker. So what I might consider a full answer, he might consider, oh, well, there's these other 4 things that I need to ask you about. If I say this thing, then this is going to cause him to do these other things that I don't want to have to deal with. So having those conversations in there, I think I do it for every single listing, every single buyer. Put all that information in there. That way I'm communicating with a partner. I consider Claude my partner and ChatGPT, and say, hey, this is what I'm getting. What do you think this person is actually saying? And then they can go in and it kind of thinks through it. And sometimes I have to go, no, that's not what they're saying.
Yeah.
But it's at least another viewpoint. It's like me calling Carissa and showing her a text thread and saying, what do you think about this? So I think it's wonderful. Buyers haven't disappeared. They're becoming more selective. Now, some buyers have disappeared when they go from 6.25% interest rate to 7%. That's normal. That scares people. Economic indicators are going to scare people, but I think it's about talking to your buyers, talking to your clients, explaining what's going on with the market, explaining that the rates are not going to be like this forever, but they are going to stay in the 6s. That's where we're going to be. We're going to be in the high 5s, lower 6s for the foreseeable future.
How fast can someone refinance?
I'm sorry?
How fast can someone refinance?
It depends on the lender, but I mean, if they're up there at the 8 from 2 years ago, I mean, you could refinance now, but at one point doesn't make enough sense because of the cost involved in the refi. Most of the lenders that, well, no, I can't say that. Some of the lenders that come through the office here are offering free refis when the rates come down. Even though when people bought at 8, they would give a 5-year window and say, when rates come down, usually about 1.5 to 2 points of a rate reduction is enough for them to front that cost and make it worth their time.
A lot of lenders though are doing free refis, or at least they were when rates were really high. And there's also something called a recast, that is an option as well. I don't know how to explain it, but I had one client that did it, and it was essentially like they didn't have the funds to put down the down payment, which then affected their rate, and so they like calculated essentially like, we close today under these terms, this is what your rate will be, but if in 30 days we recast the loan with the larger down payment, that and the other, it'll adjust. So it's basically just like
Redo.
a readjustment.
It's a redo.
A lot of people do that too, like if they are purchasing before they sell and they don't have the proceeds. Kind of like the down
Yeah,
payment.
that's what-
When you close on your house and you have like 100K in proceeds, they'll put it towards the principal and then recast it.
Okay, so let me go ahead and get through this because I want to get through the IA today. Builders are getting big on the entry-level buyers again. I don't know if y'all seen some of that, but some of the builders are starting to retool and go to a smaller floor plan that they can sell at a better price for the lower end buyers. So that's coming. The quick move-in inventory is absolutely a gold mine. If you find a builder that your buyer likes, go look at the quick move-in inventory because they're willing to deal on those. Not necessarily in sales price, but in incentives. So it makes it better for them. Use your AI. A buyer overwhelmed with new construction options, worried about affordability. Help me explain the pros, cons, incentives, and payment differences. So that's something that you can run through your AI prompts. So I put this in here, but I'm not going to hit it today, and I'll tell you why, because I got to get blood at 11:15, and I want to get through the 2 classes of AI today, of irreplaceable agent. So this is something that we were going to sit down and talk about is where do we lose the most time or energy and what slows us down? This is the move to this week is to use AI to solve one thing that keeps slowing you down. Put that into an AI thread and say, hey, what do you see me being slow at? Where am I losing momentum? Where do I get friction on things that I do? Because if you're talking to your AI several times a day, some of us, me and Jamie are kind of like on it 6-8 hours a day sometimes, but it's running on a different machine. So I can still focus and run something over here that I'm thinking about. But this part of my business keeps slowing me down. Here's the issue. Help me simplify it, systematize it, and communicate it better.
Mine's gonna tell me I'm dilly-dallying and feel farting.
Well, that's true. Most agents drift.
I mean,
Top agents decide. The agents who build something meaningful aren't the busiest. They're the ones who know what they want, who they want to become, and what they want to build toward. Your future business is being built today by today's repeated decisions. The average homeowner stays in their home nearly twice as long as they did 20 years ago. 20 years ago, it was a 7-year move curve. About every 7 years, buyers were moving 5 to 7 years. And now we're almost twice that long. It's 10 to 14.
that's interesting.
It is interesting.
People move less often now, which means relationships, trust, and staying visible matter more than ever. This is, I think, a very good line. The agents who stay remembered stay in business. Stay in front of your clients. The social media is great for that, but being able to reach out to those people No, if you guys need note cards around the corner on both sides here, we've got tons of note cards. I got some new ones. I have to bring them. They're cute. They got a little doggy summer thing.
Shout out to Jenny for having lots of videos this past couple of weeks.
Yes, absolutely. Very good.
Good, good.
AI, give me 3 simple ways to stay visible to past clients without sounding salesy. These are just simple prompts that you guys, I have noticed that a lot of people are looking at the playbook online. I'm really thankful that you're getting something there. I hope it gives you an idea. That may not be the prompt, but maybe it gives you the prompt that you use, gives you a starting point. What's the biggest problem? What happens when someone builds a business without deciding what they actually want? So the problem is every week we chase leads, more deals, more marketing, more systems, more tools, but we very seldom do we ask, what kind of business am I actually trying to build? We don't need more info, we need a clearer direction. That's where the vision comes in today. Activity becomes reactive, growth becomes random, success becomes exhausting without vision. Not because we lack ambition, it's because we just don't stop long enough to define what winning actually looks like. If the solution is that vision creates alignment, the best agent know what matters most, understand natural strengths, build around the life they want, make decisions with long-term clarity. AI prompt can be, help me define the kind of real estate business and life I want to build based on my strengths, personalities, goals, and ideal lifestyle. Ask me questions to get me to that answer. That's what you say to AI. And it'll start asking you questions about what you want to build.